Hey guys, happy Saturday. I just did a live gathering on Substack. I'm going live every Saturday to give you a snapshot of what the astrology for the week ahead is. I want to make sure that this gets to YouTube, so I'm going to do my best to push repeat on that gathering. So yeah, let's talk about what's going on. Well, today, Saturday, is the full moon in the sign of Libra. Today is also the day when Venus goes direct. Venus has been aspecting a fair amount this last week. She's been very active. She's been active in a retrograde manner. Retrograde is review, revise, reorient yourself. And so that's been one of her themes. And her themes in general are themes of balance and justice and harmony. So Venus going direct today is going to help us get some gas in the tank for forward momentum. And let's talk about what's going on this week. We have the first major aspect for this week is happening on Monday, the 14th. We have the sun in Aries, semi-sextile Venus in Pisces. Semi-sextile is an energy that brings about either a gift or a challenge that needs to be addressed. So it can go either way, but if we get a challenge, it's just really need to be addressed so that we can get to where we want to be. Sun in Aries is all about I am energy. It's about having resolve. It's about taking action. It's about having courage. And so we're going to be motivated to be present, to take action, to have courage about themes of justice. But Venus is just, it's not just justice and balance. Venus in Pisces is wisdom. Venus in Pisces is taking what we know and what we've learned and all of our lessons and acting from that space. So not just reacting, acting, being the change, consciously choosing what it is that we are wanting to do. The next day, we have the sun in Aries doing some more semi-sextile action, this time with both Uranus and Saturn. So the theme remains the same, that there's going to be a challenge, there could be a problem, that's something that comes up, but this challenge is going to support us in being present and taking action and being courageous. Here, the theme is going to be about remembering that we are the change, that we live in transformative times, and there's no one that's going to swoop in and do it for us. It's us. So taking responsibility for our vibration, taking responsibility for our words, taking responsibility in this moment for what it is that we want to see in the world. We also have Saturn in Pisces, semi-sextile of the sun in Aries. So that is about restriction and karma. And that's because we're remembering that our karma comes from the past. So there's this essence of being invited to cull the wisdom of the past, the lessons learned. What do we know to be true and why? And there's this aspect of Pisces of coming from the heart. Pisces is a soft energy. Pisces is about, it's an other oriented sign. So this is about the collective. Wednesday, we still have the sun in Aries doing a semi-sextile. This time the semi-sextile is with the North Node in the sign of Pisces. So still the idea of being present, taking action, having courage, moving through whatever challenges may come. And here the way forward is the wisdom of the collective. North Node is where we're headed, both individually, but most importantly, as a humanity. And here again, giving to others for peace. So the first 3 days of this week, let's just say, don't be surprised if it's a little bumpy, but then don't be surprised what the planets are showing us. Don't get knocked down. Know that this is part of the change. Know that these challenges are opportunities for change. We have a really cool, fortunate aspect on Thursday. We have two things going on Thursday. First, we have Mercury conjunct Neptune, both at 0 degrees of Aries. 0 degrees of Aries is huge. It's the very first sign of the zodiac. It's the first degree of the first sign of the zodiac. So this is about illusion and delusion of communications. So in the conjunction is kind of inviting us to remember that what we're seeing is part of a new beginning. What we're experiencing is part of a new beginning, but it's also about seeing beyond the veil of truth that we consider to be the way things are in the world, and the way things are in the world is what's true. Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, conjunct Mercury, is saying there's a lot of different ways to slice a piece of cheese. There's a lot of different ways to slice that pie, and we are being invited to conceive of things we may never have even conceived of before. We also have on Thursday Jupiter in Gemini, sesquiquadrate Pluto in Aquarius. So here, this is sesquiquadrate is tension and conflict and need for, but tension and conflict because we're going through a time of learning and growth. So these are challenging aspects, but they're challenging aspects for a very good reason. And Jupiter, the planet of expansion in the sign of Gemini, is reminding us about all perspectives. There is no one perspective that is right. This is about, again, like leaning into the idea of the collective, leaning into the fact that we don't need to dig our heel in and draw the line in the sand per se and say it's my way or the highway. It's about this new way of being on this planet, this new way of being with humanity. Pluto in Aquarius is saying the very same thing. Pluto in Aquarius is reminding us that this kind of squash energy, this top-down energy, this power over energy, that's old news. That's Pluto in Capricorn. We're now in Aquarius, and it's about decentralized, circular experiences of power exchange. So this means that everybody gets a voice. This means that everybody comes along. And this means that our expansion is via that way of being and that way of inhabiting the world. And that may be new for all of us. It's new for all of us because it just is new, period. Even if we have this really wonderful idea of, yes, decentralized power, circular power, I personally think that's really great, but also I personally have an idea of what it is in my mind. I have some lived experience of what it is, but I am a product of this world, and this world that we live in, we have all, even if we've been consciously living in the world, we're affected by these structures because we're living in these structures. So we're in this rebirth, birth canal process, especially this week. And this week closes out with the final aspect that happens on Saturday. And this is a really cool, fortunate aspect. Mars is entering into the sign of Leo, and it's trining Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. Mars in Leo is a breath of fresh air. Mars has been in Cancer since January 6th. Mars in Cancer is in its shadow. It's in its downfall. Mars in Cancer is this power hungry shadow side of fear mongering and warmongering and just trying to do whatever we can do to get our point across, and Mars in Leo is going to be a breath of fresh air. Mars in Leo is going to provide us courage, provide us the opportunity to have some strategy. Leo is the lion. If you think about how big cats do their hunting, they don't willy-nilly go waste their energy trying to figure out what they're going to do with their prey. They wait, they watch. When they move, they take action, and the deed is done, right? So we're that type of strategy, big picture strategy, but also regal energy. Leo is regal, and this is about a bright future. This is about sort of regal as in royalty, but as in the regal of deserving that position of power, right? And so Mars in Leo is fantastic, trining Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. That's flowing energy to help us see through the illusion and delusion and to help us be empowered. 0 degrees of Aries is anything is possible. All right, let's do it. Happy Saturday, happy full moon. As I'm recording this, we are in the full moon in Libra, and I will see you next Saturday. Check out my Substack and join me live if you get a chance. Otherwise, you can check this out on YouTube as well. All right, take care. See you later.